In Nazareth, Mary receives a message from an angel. She will bear the Son of God. Mary and Joseph travel to Bethlehem, seeking a place for the birth of a king. In a humble stable, Jesus is born, bathed in the light of the shining star. Shepherds and wise men come to worship the newborn king, bringing gifts of love. To protect the child Jesus, Joseph and Mary fled to Egypt, guided by faith and courage. In Nazareth, Jesus grew up surrounded by love, joy, and a simple life. At 12, Jesus amazed the temple teachers with his questions and understanding. "Why were you searching for me?" Jesus said, "I must be in my Father's house." At the Jordan River, Jesus is baptized, and the Spirit of God comes upon him like a dove. In the wilderness, Jesus overcomes temptation, preparing for his mission. Jesus calls Peter and Andrew, saying, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." At a wedding in Cana, Jesus performs his first miracle, turning water into wine. Jesus takes his teachings on a peaceful hilltop, nurturing people and instilling life-giving faith. He emphasizes spreading love and humility, bringing compassion and kindness into the temple's courtyard. The story of the Good Samaritan is then shared, serving as a reminder of the importance of treating others with love and understanding. One day, Jesus met a blind man longing to see the world. Compassionately, he healed him with a touch. The man rejoiced, and the crowd marveled at Jesus' miracle. In a crowded home, friends lowered a paralyzed man to Jesus, who performed the miracle. The man stood up and walked, and everyone praised God. A crowd of 5,000 gathered to hear Jesus, but as the day wore on, they grew hungry. A young boy offered his 5 loaves and 2 fish, trusting that Jesus could provide. Jesus blessed the food, and it multiplied, providing enough to feed everyone. All were fed, and there were even leftovers. The crowd marveled at the power of Jesus' love and provision. Caught in a fierce storm, the disciples feared their boat would sink. But Jesus remained calm, resting at the back. Jesus rose and commanded the wind and waves to be still. The storm obeyed, and the sea became calm. Later that night, Jesus walked on water toward the disciples. Peter stepped out in faith to meet him. When Peter doubted, he began to sink. But Jesus reached out, lifted him up, and they walked back together. Jesus hears Lazarus is sick and says, "This will glorify God." Martha and Mary cry, and Jesus says, "Your brother will rise." At the tomb, Jesus calls, "Lazarus, come out." The stone is moved. Lazarus steps out alive, and the crowd is amazed. At the Last Supper, Jesus shared bread and wine, teaching his disciples the meaning of sacrifice and love. In the garden, Jesus prayed with sorrow, preparing for the sacrifice he knew was to come. Before Pilate, Jesus stood calm and resolute, accepting the judgment of the crowd. On the cross, Jesus gave his life, showing the depth of his love for all humanity. On the 3rd day, the stone was rolled away, and Jesus rose, bringing hope and eternal life. The tomb stood empty, the stone rolled away. Light burst forth, proclaiming victory over death. Jesus appeared, radiant and alive, saying, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers." On a hill, Jesus blessed his disciples and ascended into heaven, surrounded by glory. Jesus entered the gates of heaven, completing his mission and opening the way to eternal life.